Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Friday Night Light pre-race show at Napa Auto Parts Super Dirt Week. I'm Adam Ross. Joining me is Mike Mallett, both of us from Dirt Track Digest. We are pleased to be here bringing this to you tonight. Mike, what a crazy week it's been. What a day it has been today here at Oswego.
Unbelievable day here at Oswego Speedway. 101 sportsmen took time. That is either amazing or asinine, one or the other.
4 divisions of cars are running tonight in qualifiers. Nearly 300 race cars on the track. 4 divisions, 300 race cars. It's phenomenal. And we're really, knock on wood, there hasn't been an issue today.
Well, the weather, the weather this week has been, I think, the best weather that we've had so far for Super Dirt Week here at Oswego. There hasn't been, I think the last drop of rain that fell was Monday afternoon. And since then, the weather's been nice. There's been a little mud, yeah, whatever. It's Super Dirt Week. It's supposed to be. But as we tell TJ Buffenbarger from DirtTrackDigest.com this week, welcome to Super Dirt Week. It's muddy. But other than that, it has been a fantastic week. The track is holding up as expected, as it has the last couple of years. And I'm excited about what we're going to see tonight.
Well, it was fun today. So traditionally, you want to get a late time trial. Fastest cars go last. And you wanted to be in that last group to lay down a big time. When the 100 sportsman cars came out, 101, although the fast time came at the very end, there was a lot of teams in the middle of that session that really missed the mark. I mean, the one that jumps out at me is Brad Rouse in the 18, who barely cracked the top 50.
49th, to be official.
49th for a driver who wins a lot of races.
Right.
Now, everything is different at Super Dirt Week because there's guys that we don't see follow the tour all the time,
right.
But they're going to be fast. Bublak, he's going to be fast. Yeah. But there's drivers you expect to be up there who aren't. They're going to be mired in the middle of these qualifiers. And even though you're a guaranteed starter, you still want to
You don't want to start 40th on Sunday afternoon. That is not a good way to go with your weekend. There's steps over there, Billy. Billy, you can come on up. Yeah, just steps right over there. It's a live show. That's what we do here.
And consider this, however many heat races there are.
We're not sure on that yet.
I believe there's 4 for the sportsman. Every car you pass in the heat race is 4 spots further forward you're going to start for the 75 lapper. Billy Decker, welcome. We're talking sportsman racing. You want to join us?
Sure.
Grab the microphone. You can either lean up to it or just
take it right off and talk. So,
where's Tim Fuller?
I was going to ask, where's Fuller and where's Matt to drive through the middle of this interview? Because that might be the best Super Dirt Week interview we've done, Billy. That was great.
Somebody's always got to mess with you. It is Super Dirt Week.
That's like you said, that's the fun stuff. And that's what people don't get to see always because, Billy, normally when you do an interview, it's very professional and you thank who you need to thank and you say the things you need to say. You don't have a jackass pulling up beside you at 4,000 RPM to throw you off. But that's the stuff that's fun, and that's the stuff I don't think enough people get to see.
Well, there's a little juvenile in all of us, I think. You know what I mean? Some more than others.
I think Fuller's got enough. I like picking on Tim, so this is nothing I wouldn't say to his face.
Oh, exactly.
But, let's talk Super Dirt Week. You were a fast timer at the mile. What's it mean to finally get one here at Oswego?
Anytime you come to an event like this, and obviously you want to be the best every time you roll on the racetrack, and I don't know quite what to think. Obviously, very happy to have the fast time, and that's what our goal was. For yesterday was a set fast time. That's what we were here to do. Exactly how well balanced we are. I'm unsure because the track made a nice swing yesterday, and it's going to do it every day. And I think a product. A sign of that was today when they canceled warm-ups, there was a lot of people complaining because everybody, including myself, want some track time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Looking for that balance, you know what I mean? And, we did, the Gypsum Wholesaler car was really good. The guys worked on it all day long. We were pretty close, in the top 10 or 15, pretty much every time we went on the racetrack, but managed to lay down 2 really good laps, not 1 but 2, which is good, because we weren't like 3 or 4 tenths different on our second lap or our first lap, but so we did at that stage have a really good race car. With that being said, I don't think the track's going to be that pace come race day. It might be that pace for a few minutes, but not for very long. Hopefully not like that. So everybody's still looking for a really good balance that'll be able to withstand something that's very slick and 2 seconds slower in rubber. You know what I mean? So.
What was the track like this afternoon compared to yesterday when you qualified?
Well, obviously, it was a little bit slower and a lot narrower. You know, yesterday, it looked like the tight spots on the racetrack moved today compared to yesterday. They weren't as tight as they were yesterday, and they moved a little bit. So, you know, it's just something we noticed before time trials of where to be in 3 and 4 and then just happen to be in the right spot at the right time and catch them. So, and today that line wasn't exactly there. It moved a little bit, and the sun was a little bit different. Obviously, when we went out today, it was late, and there was 101 sportsmen going out there, so it was pretty busy.
I talked to you at Albany, Saratoga a few weeks ago, and you said you were still trying to find that balance and feel good in the car. And you said you guys made some changes there, and you were starting to get that feel that you were looking for. Is this a continuation of that, or is this just because it's Oswego, it's totally different?
You know, look, I don't know what to think right now, because every time we really think we're getting our handle on things, we just stink it up in the next show. He just wasn't happy at all with the Outlaw 200 at Fulton last week, and just started, because I really thought we were building on something at Albany, and we were good. We had a pretty good race car at Albany, and then just wasn't happy. But so there is some stuff that we have to figure out yet, that we're still in a learning curve ourselves, and we're trying to apply some of that stuff. And it's you don't really get that many laps at Oswego where you can come back in, make some wholesale changes, and go back out. You're limited on how many laps you can get here.
How valuable is radio communication when you come to this race, so you can talk to Scott on the radio? As the pole sitter, the nice thing is you're out in front, but the disadvantage you have, you don't know what the guys are doing behind you, where the hot spots are, where the lines are they're finding. Are you able to get that through your spotter, through Scott on the radio?
Yeah, at times you can, when it comes race time, yes. I think it was critical yesterday to have the radios in our big block, because we did a lot of communicating. You don't have time to pull in the pits, digest what just happened, and then make some adjustments, collectively, and then go back out. You gotta shoot, where the checkered comes out in warm-ups, and you're already talking about what he saw, what I felt, and making a plan. So when you hit the pits, you can make the adjustments and hurry up and get back in line. You know what I mean? And then wait a half an hour and get 3 more laps. So it's it is what it is. Everybody's on the same playing field, but it can make it difficult, especially if you start chasing your tail a little bit.
This week, gypsum, you guys have had some adversity. I mean, your week has been relatively uneventful per se, but your teammates have had a tough week. How does that kind of throw things into chaos for everybody?
Well, I think first and foremost, it shows the depth of the team. These guys work really hard in the shop preparing, and we just had some part failures. That's all there has been, is some part failures wholesale. Larry had one, and I had one, and then Pat had a bad night the other night, but everybody chips in, digs in, and then the team is pretty deep over there. We're surrounded by a lot of good people. I'm very fortunate, and Larry as well. And we got a nice program, and those guys work really well in the shop together. And they turn things right back around, and it's just par for the course. And we'll move on.
In Syracuse, strategy was always huge, and you guys were some of the best strategists at that racetrack. Here at Oswego, I can't speak for everyone. I can speak for myself. I haven't quite wrapped my head around what is the perfect way to execute this race. When do you want to come into the pits? When do you want to give up track position, and when do you make your move? Billy, how tough is it for you guys to sit down and dissect how the race is going to go to put yourself into the position to win at the end?
I got to be honest with you. The strategist, the fuel mileage of Syracuse almost makes me throw up a little bit, because first and foremost, the first year we won, we were the first car to go a certain amount of laps, and we were the biggest cheater on the planet. And then 2 years later, people went 20 more laps than we did. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? It was stupid. I can tell you this: every time we got fuel mileage at Syracuse, we had a fast race car.
Right.
And I think in order to get fuel mileage, you have to have a fast race car. Then you can dictate what goes on. It's more of a dictating what goes on in the race rather than a strategy. You know what I mean? Because soon as something your game plan doesn't work out, you have to adjust from the hip. You know what I mean? So that fuel mileage thing, I think, is a crock of shit. There's guys that ran out of gas, there's no question about it, that tried to make something when they didn't have anything. I went a long ways on gas. Tim Fuller went a long ways on gas. Vic did it. Stuart Friesen went 120, and probably, and I know the one time I made a joke about it, but I could have drove part way home after I went 110 miles, you know what I'm saying, on that car. And it wasn't because we were doing anything trick. It wasn't because we were cheating. It's just that, I'm going to share with you a little bit of advice. I was hanging around with Bob Faust, and Sammy Swindell was going to drive his car that one year. And Bob says, let's go win this race as fast as we can. And Sammy said, no. He says, let's win it as slow as we can. And that really resonated with me about winning it as slow as you can. And the funny part is, though, is we could never do any of that until we showed up with a fast race car, because we could take the exact same race car that would get 4.3 miles to the gallon in a race and get 2.7 with it because it was ill handling and a handful.
Right.
And that's the way it was for everybody. So, back on that. So when we come here to Oswego, it's still a little bit of a crapshoot. If you look at Jimmy Phelps last year, had a great race car, dictated the race, kept his tires really good, and then came up a little bit short. But when they start not counting cautions on the last 25 laps, who knows how long the race is going to be,
right,
and who knows how it's going to fall. So it kind of takes all that out of the window and out of the equation about what's going on. And I think what you're seeing now is just a reaction to where the racetrack is. So you feel you can make a pit stop, get good rubber on the race car, something that's opened up and not sealed up, and get back to the front. And obviously that's worked the last 2 years. So it's really a guessing game, and it's pretty much a shot from the hip. And I don't think you'll see too many people say, okay, this is our game plan, we're going to pit on lap 80 and we're going to go back out there. I think by and large the field will be guessing what they're going to do in the second half of the race relative to what the racetrack's right. And that, that's part of the beauty of Oswego. You know what I mean? You look at the races the last couple of years, they're slicing and dicing and racing, and it's a great show. It's a really great show.
Way better than anything we ever saw at the mile, where you could actually race it out for a win.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Because there's always someone willing to go out there and really push it.
Oh,
because if someone's out there pushing it and lapping cars, you've got to pick up your pace.
Sure.
That's the fun thing. That if everyone's conservative, it'd be kind of dull. You'd go back to the old days. There's always going to be someone who'll go out there and give up track position and drive like a raped ape to get back to the front.
And at times you have to. It's just a product of what this track will do for you, and hopefully it plays out the same again. Because nobody, listen, us racers, we don't like it when it's locked down one lane in rubber, because all you can do is make mistakes. Because if you're leading and you try to pull out and pass a lap car at the wrong time, man, you feel bad about it.
But you still do it.
We do it.
I was picking on Matt Shepard and Stuart Friesen, and I asked them, why is it you're in the rubber and you know that you can't pass that guy? Why do everybody does it? You get out of the rubber thinking you can pass him, and then there goes the freight train on by.
Well, we're proud, we can pass that guy. Well, I guess we can't. Then the guy sneaks by and you want to rip the steering wheel off.
How are you at being a politician, Billy?
Pretty lousy, I think. You know what I mean? I get mad and say what's on my mind. And
I'm not mad, but you were at Brewerton Speedway last night where there were 25 small blocks for that race. And I'm not knocking. I enjoyed the race. I really enjoyed watching that race. But I want to focus on the positive side of that, and that is there is a ton of cars here at Oswego. 100 Sportsman, 75 small blocks, 75 big blocks. Why did that shift take place? I look at the positive of what the fans have here at Oswego. I see people able to focus on racing here and maybe give up that going to Brewerton on a Thursday, or Wade Sport on a Wednesday, or Utica Rome on a Tuesday. I'm not picking one track over the other, but it used to be we'd go to Brewerton on the Thursday night and there'd be 70 small blocks, but there'd only be 40 for the big show.
That's correct, and I think that's a little shift. From a fan's perspective, it hasn't shifted. I mean, it was still a great race at Brewerton last night. You know what I mean? Brewerton lends itself to racing. They were slicing and dicing throughout the field, and cars getting in trouble and out of trouble and stuff. So it's still a great race, from a fan perspective. And you're right, though, when it costs have gone down substantially to come to Oswego, I think you see a lot more participation. And it's fun and it's exciting. It is Super Dirt Week, and it's nice to see that kind of participation. I think we could change a few things, start a little bit earlier in the day, because it seems like we rush and wait. But
it works for my schedule, so I appreciate it. Like as a teacher, I don't get out of school till 2:30, so I appreciate it.
But it does work good. But like I'm talking about Wednesday, starting practice a little bit earlier. But there again, what are we, upwards of 300 cars here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everybody wants a little piece of that track time.
Yeah.
And it can be limited. So, it's a challenge both ways. I'm not saying I could do it any better, but
I got one more question, and we'll let you go. Is this a playoff beard you're going, or what?
I don't know what it is. I'm trying to change our luck around a little bit. If I don't have good luck this weekend, it's coming off. It's itching and scratching a little bit. It is close to hunting season, but I'm just, I don't know. I'm a little bit lazy and trying to turn things around a little bit.
Well, hey,
Billy, it's always fun to get a few extra minutes with you because you are pretty funny. You're a character, and you have great conversations. I'm not saying your interviews aren't great, but quite often when you're down on the front straightaway, you got to say all the right things and then be done. At least now you can sort of kick back, loosen up a little bit, and people can enjoy you.
Well, good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Billy.
All right.
Well, since he talked about him, Jimmy Phelps, come on up. We'll grab you here. And since Billy mentioned you and your fuel strategy, and I think we'll have to start with that once you get here. So
we've had our pro stock pole sitter here for quite a while. Unfortunately, I don't think you recognized him, Mike. So
I wasn't here to see it. I'm sorry. I apologize. My fault. I'm sorry. I should have.
We'll get you. Mike just big leagued you. What just happens a lot in like mainstream sports. Mike Mallett.
Yeah, I didn't.
You big leagued him.
I didn't know. I wasn't here to watch anything today. I have the papers in front of me, and you got to do all the interviews. You were the hot shot today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like. Jimmy Phelps.
Hi guys.
Okay, let's talk about it. Billy Decker brought it up, the strategy side of things. You know.
No, we don't plan to go the whole.
Don't plan, right?
200.
You didn't plan to do that?
No, we didn't.
Right.
No, and, we for sure didn't. It was just a decision that obviously got made as the race was progressing, and it was really pretty simple. There was no magic to the decision. We were up front. We had some challenges. I think we lost the lead to Eric there for a couple laps, but it looked like early on as they were pitting, they weren't really having an easy time getting back to the front. I do agree with what Billy said. I mean, and obviously the last couple years, you definitely saw where at the end of that race there was a lot of, differentiation between, a guy with some decent tires and whatever, and cars were falling off, and there was some real, you could get a lot of track position back in a hurry. So I think that, that was a lesson learned. We were pretty wounded even on tires. The fuel load come off, and we started getting a little bit ill handling there towards the end. So, I mean, that inevitably, even if we made it on fuel, was probably going to cost us a win. And, we got to, without Dirt Car making any changes to the rule package as far as counting yellows, we still would have to really be smart enough to try to not get caught in that web.
Right. You're having a pretty good weekend so far. I mean,
yeah,
when you look at
not
here
bad.
this week,
I mean,
how good is that? I mean, it hasn't been up to your standards. I mean, you've had some struggles here, in 2019.
Yeah.
How good is it to come to Oswego, the biggest event of the year for us, and to put yourself, you're locked in on the pole, the small block race, and you just met your seventh in the big block.
It feels good. I mean, I think it didn't come easy. I mean, our cars were both kind of average in practice, and the guys just worked hard. We just made a bunch of changes, kind of kept getting it better, getting it more comfortable. Caught a really good lap in the time trials for the small block. I mean, there's a lot of really good small blocks. By no means do I think we got the best car right now. But when you got 80-some cars and, you feel like you got one of the best dozen cars, it's a good feeling. So we'll just see. I don't do enough of it, really. Going into this, I don't really know, other than we just got to put our foot down and just, hope it rides with us. But big block cars still got a little bit of work to do, I think. Although I do believe we timed so early that I think had we timed later, the track kept getting faster. I think we had a really, really strong car yesterday. Seventh is nothing to hang our hats on, but or to hang our heads about. But I think we had a better car than that.
Adam brought up with Billy the switch we've seen with the satellite shows. You as a promoter of the Weed Sports Speedway, obviously the car count a little down, but here it's huge. What's your thoughts on your side of it?
Obviously, that's been
Still
talked about Utica Rome
too.
as 40 cars
Right.
being kind of a bummer. Then all of a sudden we got 29 at Weed Sport, where in the past 2-3 years when we did get the race in, we had 60 to 70.
Right.
Brewerton's accustomed to 60 to 70. So after Brewerton last night, everybody started really paying attention. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
I blamed a little of Wednesday on the congestion, the late practice session, some of the stuff that just makes it hard. I mean, it was hard for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was hard for us to get there. But honestly, I think it's more than that. You know what I mean? I think that when you start taking a deeper look at it, and you guys just touched on it a little bit, I mean, back in the day at the mile, it wasn't easy for everybody to put a piece together to go to the mile.
Right.
So a lot of 358 teams, a lot of a lot of racers in general, that was their dirt week. They went to the mile, had some fun, but the competition side of their Super Dirt Week was at night.
Right.
Well, those guys are all here, and
Right.
and they're all focusing on it, and I think that's great. But I just think that it's not as attractive to a lot of the teams now to do both because it's so difficult. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, I think it can be tweaked.
Yeah, I think we still had great crowds. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing, though. The crowds were still great. People still want to see that nighttime racing.
We were really happy with the crowd. We were really happy with the energy. That's the nice part about Super Dirt Week's
Mm-hmm.
crowd. When no matter what venue they're in, I mean, they're pumped up and they're having fun. And as a, as the event facility, that's exciting to watch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because at some point there has to be a shift in the mentality, and like you say, and I get excited for this too, 60 or 70 cars, which means 30 or 40 teams leave disappointed. So when you have 29 teams show up to Weed Sport, now next year we're going to have the car counts
have
rise
40
again because people will think they can get in, and so look at the positive
It's
there.
it's cyclical. Yeah,
That's
no
a
doubt.
good thing.
Well, there's definitely something to be said for that. I'll never forget this. I talked to the race director for the World Outlaws about this a couple years ago. Mike may or may not remember, but we had I think back in, we've lost the race to rain a couple times, but I don't know, 2-3 years ago we had 34 sprint cars. Okay, you had a bunch of support from the local, ESS guys, whatever. Come right back the following year, good weather, not a lot of competition, had 19. We were asking, Dave Axon got off the couch to come.
He was watching cartoons,
so we
I
could
think.
try to get the car. We got a few late entries and got it up where it needed to be to 21.
Right, because
22.
again, the local guys were like, "Oh, I can't go run with them, so why
Yeah.
am I going to go?
And
I'm
then-
going to stay home." And then, oh crap!
This year, we were back to, I think, before it rained out, we had like 29, 30 cars. So
Yeah,
I think
right.
it's one of them deals where I think, the outlook on the chances, the risk versus the reward financially to enter the race has to weigh in. And I think, so you're right. That it could cycle around, and they might look at Brewerton 20 whatever cars or Weed Sports 20 whatever cars, and some of these people might come here and struggle and say, you know what? I had more fun, drinking beer at Oswego. I'm going to go race at night and have some fun, on the.
I know Chad Brockman's doing
So-
that. Chad was only going to run the first couple of shows, and then he was going home, and that was his focus. That was it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what did happen to
He
him.
broke a
last-
hub last night. Yeah.
He was destined for a top 3.
Yeah,
It looked
yeah.
to me like he was going to win that race, but things can
yeah.
change. It was
I think
early.
he did win last year, right?
Yeah, he's won it
He's been
before.
good at
Yep,
Brewerton.
and- yep.
So there are a lot of positives to that. And how often, Jimmy, do you think about those things? Because you are with, and I don't mean to cast aspersions, but you're with a well-funded team, or at least it looks it. So you're not necessarily, I'm sure you remember what it was like to be scrounging every dollar you could to get yourself to the racetrack to go out and compete. But how difficult is it to put on your promoter hat when you've got to appeal to those teams, figure out a way to get them out to the races, while at the same time, I mean, your program is very, very successful.
That's a problem bigger than Dirt Week. I mean, you know what I mean. But I think we're starting to see where, when you start talking about the ability to go, basically buy the same car that we have or Matt Shepard has, whatever, buy it used.
Yep.
As people start to get to realize that, you don't need a big trailer, you don't need 5 cars in a shop, you don't need, you see some guys now that are coming onto the scene that, I wouldn't particularly think have the biggest budgets, and they're running right in the mix all the time. So I think that it's doable, and I think as you break your way into that situation, there's not a whole. I don't really know, to answer your question directly. I don't. That's a problem that I think. Obviously, dirt car, the tracks, everybody gets together. I mean, everybody talks about it all the time. I don't think one track's going to necessarily fix that. But based on the car counts you're seeing here, and any track nowadays with a Sportsman division, I mean, there's a place for most if they have the desire.
That's a good answer. It took a minute to get
Yeah.
there, but that summed it up.
That's
well,
a big question. I mean, because it's
Right.
very. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of.
there.
Yeah, there's a
There's
lot
a
there.
lot to it.
If I knew the answer, it's just
Yeah.
a lob, right? That one's a tricky one, and it's tricky for all of us. But this to me is exciting, and I know you can't see that on the camera, but time trial results that almost can't be printed on one
Yeah,
page.
same thing.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
the big
it's
block one,
pretty
and
darn cool.
here's the small block one. I mean, it's It's impressive. And I think that this, Super Dirt Week is always our marquee event, always. But now it's become, we had the guys that could come and they would do it once or twice or could, maybe afford it like you said now. Everybody can afford to be here, and that's what kind of makes it cool.
Look, you're not going to replace the mile.
No.
Okay? But I can count on one hand how many times I've heard the mile said this weekend.
Yeah.
I needed 10 hands last year and 5,000 hands the year before.
Right.
So as this becomes the home of Super Dirt Week, and it's obviously working. I mean, everybody's having fun. You're starting to see the party. Everything's working on that front. We can trickle back now to the original premise of not everybody could go to the mile. I mean, shit, there was a lot of years that we, as a family-owned race team, just didn't go to the mile. I mean, it just didn't make any sense. We went and raced the satellite shows, had a great time, went to the mile and watched, whatever. The fact of the matter now is, you can come here, with your Saturday night car, and you can be competitive, and you got a fighting chance, and I think that's the best thing that Oswego has brought to this whole deal.
Well said. Jimmy, we appreciate you stopping by. Good luck in both of your races tonight, Saturday, Sunday, and I hope the good fortune keeps up.
Well, I hope so. Thanks, guys.
Hey, and if you have a good week, you got to talk to us again. It's just required.
That's all right.
All right?
That's all right. I can put up with you a lot better after a good week. See you guys.
So that's Jimmy Phelps, again, coming off a fast time for the Salute the Troops 150. And we had Billy Decker moments ago as well, the pole sitter for the Billy Whitaker Cars 200. And now Tony.
Do you ever notice that, though? Like, once you get through the initial politically correct about how hard the crew works back at the shop.
Yeah, then we get to the good stuff.
Then you get. I think we're going to start with the good stuff here because I've interviewed Tony once already today. Markou, are we saying it right, Tony? Tony Markou?
Yeah.
Grab the microphone
Tony
there.
Markou.
Pole sitter for the Pro Stock race, which most people who have been to a number of Super Dirt Weeks will tell you the best race of the week, 9 times out of 10,
it's good. It's
is
really
the Pro
good.
Stock
Yep.
race. And I'm excited that it hasn't changed since we came here to Oswego.
Yeah, to me, Tony, I never had the chance to chat with you or anything, and I'm sure a lot of people at home are wondering, who's this guy? This isn't Rob Yetman. This isn't, Luke Horning or Josh Coonrad or Nick Stone. Why don't you take us a little bit and just tell the people watching, because we got a large base watching us on Facebook Live right now. Tell them a little bit about yourself, where you race, what you do, and what brought you here to Oswego.
Well, this has always been a dream to come here, but you'd have to back up 20 years before my children were born, which is when I used to race. I had probably 7 wins out of the Valley and an IMCA modified, a couple at Fonda. I ran a Sportsman for a little bit, so when the kids came along, I gave up racing to take care of my family, and that's been my passion my whole life. I've raced motocross for a long time, so now I'm back into it after a 20-year absence. This is my first season back.
After 20 years?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Is motocross racing the reason you had a bit of a limp when you were walking up here?
I actually, 3 years ago, I'm a licensed master electrician. 3 years ago, I fell off a ladder, 2 stories, shattered both my heels, broke my back. So 15 screws, 2 plates, So just the fact that I'm actually, get to do this again, even though I'm in a lot of pain when I do it, it's a dream come true. It truly is.
Part of your rehab was buy a race car and go out and challenge?
It was my wife. My wife actually said, I watch you go to work every day in pain and agony, and you're not happy doing that. I would rather see you do something, in your spare time that you're happy doing, even though it is uncomfortable in the car, on my feet. But man, I'll tell you, it's the only time that they really don't hurt when I'm, the adrenaline's flowing.
So that'll be flowing today.
Oh yeah, no, I actually didn't. I was actually upset with myself because I thought I could have laid down a better lap.
Kevin Root said the same thing to me after Sportsman. He says, I actually think I underdrove the car, which might be where your speed came from.
Sure.
And it seemed to me you were a little emotional there at the stage when we talked.
Oh, definitely.
And that's so freaking exciting. Because you know what? This racing is so hard.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so hard.
It's so hard to do something, Mike, whether it's set on the pole or win a race, because it takes so much. It takes work at home. It takes financial commitment, emotional commitment. So when you go out and do that, it's nice for me when I see someone let themselves get a little bit caught up in the moment, because you earned it. There's some big names out here, and yours wasn't one of them. And I
definitely
make
wasn't.
no apologies for it because
right.
And I'm a little out of the loop. I don't go to a lot of tracks where they run pro stocks on a weekly basis. So
Gotcha.
Mike was asking me after. He says, "Well, who's this Tony?" I said, I don't know, but I'm not
Yeah,
supposed
right.
to know.
He's a nobody.
Yeah, right. And you race at Lebanon Valley, and I don't get to go to Lebanon Valley all that much. I'm based out here in Central New York and tend to do mostly just the Super Dirt Car Series stuff, you know, and the bigger shows and travel, try to get all over. And Lebanon Valley is just one that falls on a bad weekend for the Mr. Dirt Track USA, so I don't even get down there that much. But what does it mean to you, you know, to have people saying, "Who's this guy? This guy's on the pole. This is awesome."
I always thought I was a pretty good shoe, and obviously being out for this long, I've never driven a pro stock before, so it was my first season in one. So it was all a huge learning experience, but I try not to let anything, be a barrier for me. I just, you know what I mean, just suck it up and get it done. And I got great help. I can't, if I didn't have like Glenn helping me and my wife's support, Mike, I couldn't do it. I physically couldn't do it.
See, I told you Tony wasn't going to open with that. We were going to get right to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Tony, it took you 5 or 6 minutes to go to the guys work so hard back at the shop and things, which is awesome. Do the kids have interest in racing?
No, they don't actually. No, they don't.
Oh, you lucky soul.
I actually would have, that would have been a big deal for me to, to be able to, walk them through it. But no, they're just not into it.
Do they like watching Dad?
Not so much. They're, they're age-wise, it's 21 and 18, so they're kind of doing their own thing, It'd be a little wild. They're good kids, and they both work for me, so that's a big deal. So every day we work together.
That's awesome.
Well, that's awesome.
Yep.
For you.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I already know the answer to this because this is my second chance getting to talk to you today. Your goal was to qualify for the race. Well, Tony, you made it in.
Yeah.
You've got to change your goal a little bit now for the big show.
Yeah.
Because I think, I'm not saying you have to go out and win or that, but starting from the pole, how does this change obviously it changes your viewpoint, but now where is your head at in terms of, can you win this thing?
I truly believe in my heart that there's no question I can. Whether everything falls, and there's so many variables, as we all know with racing, whether everything falls into place perfectly, I don't know. But I get in, every time I strap in to win. I know that that's not possible and it's a numbers thing, but every time I'm in that car, I'm going in to win.
What's it like coming to Oswego for the first time? I mean,
Amazing.
especially a Valley guy, because this and Lebanon Valley are not in the same ballpark in terms of how you race,
close.
how you drive, and any of that. I mean, Lebanon Valley is drop the hammer, how fast can I go, turn left, and then do it again. And
Absolutely.
then here, there's a lot of finesse involved in getting around Oswego. So how did you adjust to that and make those changes?
So I actually, the Valley is kind of my home track because it's only a mile from where my garage is. My crew chief, Glenn, was very emphatic about going to some different tracks. And like I said, we had some success back in the day, a long time ago, at Fonda. So we went back there and we had some really good runs there. We had a couple of wins at the Valley that were taken away from us on a certain lap, but that stuff happens. So I think going to Albany, Saratoga, and then back to Fonda again kind of prepared me a little bit for what I experienced today. And again, I don't know how that's going to change tomorrow because I don't know anything about this track. So being honest.
Yeah, right.
So Markou and Sons Electric,
Correct.
That's the sponsor on the car, which makes a lot of sense.
That's correct. There's also a couple other ones too. Wahlberg Electrical, Lighting and Supply, they helped me out. Mike Slauson Towing, Protect Tire and Auto. I just couldn't do it without them.
And you're $250 to the good because that's what it paid to sit on the pole. So
Yeah.
you're already cashing checks. This game's
Perfect.
fun.
That's good. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Well, anything more? Or you want
No,
to
I wish you
here?
all the best.
Yeah.
Are you on social media? Is there a place fans can follow you?
No,
'Cause
I
you're
don't know. I'm not really a big social guy, as far as the media stuff goes. So, I mean, I have a lot of family members that probably could do that, but I don't. I don't have time for it anyway. so.
DirtTrackDigest.com is where you can find everything you need to know about Tony Markou. Good luck this weekend. It's already been so much fun.
Thank you so
to
much.
see
I
what you
really do.
accomplished today.
Honestly, I didn't even, coming here is a dream, and to be able to pull something like that, that really hasn't sunk in. Like, that's a big deal to pull it off.
It will when they throw the white flag
Yeah.
and the pace car pulls off and nothing in front of you.
There's nothing in front of me.
It's
Yeah,
all up
yeah.
to you at that point. I
Absolutely.
think it'll sink in about then.
I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank
Tony.
you very much. Guys, it
Tony.
was a pleasure
Nice
to
meeting
meet
you. Nice chatting with you.
That was fun.
That's always fun. Always fun.
Billy Decker's great, Jimmy Phelps.
Yep.
Now, you and Jimmy are friends. Me and Jimmy are friendly.
Yep.
You know,
I've
'cause
known Jimmy
got
for a
around-
long time. Jimmy used to live right around the corner, actually, from my house. I think I've changed my brakes in his dad's garage a few times. So, Yeah, but Jimmy used to live right down the road from me when I lived in Baldwinsville, so I got to know him pretty well and chat with him, so I got a pretty good relationship with him. And a weird side note, when I was growing up as a kid, Billy Decker was my favorite driver. Like, as a little kid,
right?
Billy Decker was my favorite driver. I rooted for, I remember I used to have a colored, I drew the hauler and drew the race car when he drove the Napa car, the Napa 91. And I can't remember if that was a Lebanon Valley where I saw that car, or if he
You're
raced it
so
at Fun.
full of it.
I swear to God.
You were in your 20s when
No,
you
I
drove
was
that
not.
car.
I'm not that old. Hate to tell you. I'm telling you.
I think you might have lost some time.
I'm telling you, I remember hanging it on my wall because I drew, you know, the old computer paper where you could pull the sides off?
Yeah,
Like, that's what I drew on.
I'm trying to picture you in your 20s with crayons and computer.
You want me to go back to the media
matrix.
center and grab some crayons and draw on it?
I would
can do that for you. But
I love the color.
it is fun. It's a way to take some stress away, right?
The racing is. I am so excited for tonight.
I love tonight. That's the one thing I love about coming here to Oswego. I think I say it every year. Like, I'm excited about the racing. Like, you know, before we got excited about just the event, seeing friends, drinking, and all the stuff that goes with, you know, being here. You know, but now we get all that fun, as was said. I think it was Jimmy that mentioned, or Billy. You get all that fun, but then you also get fantastic racing. I have not left here on that Sunday night thinking, man, that sucked. What, you know, why are we here? This stinks. You know, you leave here and you're like, I can't wait to come back. Those races were awesome.
The tradition always was, do your thing at the Moody Mile all day long, every day, and then thrash to get to the. And we're not racing.
No.
But you thrash to get to a satellite show, try to get some food into you, and if it wasn't a great race, you're thinking, man, I just should have stayed at the mile.
Right.
But now you don't have to pack up and go anywhere. The night races are coming to you.
Yeah.
And great races they are.
I'm excited, and it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out tonight. And you know, let's talk a little bit about the lineups and tell people who's starting wearing the modifieds and that. We don't have the Sportsman yet because I don't know if we've made anything official yet or what was happening there, but we were still waiting. I think they were doing some tech or doing something with tech, so we have a printout that Kevin Root was the fast time, but we don't have the triple 20 or the quadruple or what are they? I don't even know how many.
I think there's going to be four Sportsman races.
Okay.
I would say the big story in the modifieds is Stuart Friesen not locking in.
Right, yeah, that is a big deal.
Not that he's not going to qualify,
right.
but
Well, he's already locked. He's locked in because he's got the guaranteed spot from Albany, Saratoga. But you know, as a guy that's won it 5 times now, he does not want to use a guaranteed starting spot because that sucks. That is not. I think Matt Williamson said it best. We were talking to him in Eldora about what it would mean to get a guaranteed spot for Oswego. He goes, dude, if I got to use that, it has been a crappy week. He's like, I don't even want to think about doing that. I don't even want to be in. I don't even want to worry about having that. I want to go there and I want to race my way in and do well.
Where did Matt Williamson finish at Utica Rome?
What? In which race? We didn't have the small buck race. He won.
Utica Rome.
He won Tuesday. He finished third Wednesday.
First, third.
And another first.
First. I'm trying to think back in my memory banks of who has done that. Who has raced the big races and the satellites and dominated all of them. Maybe a year Danny Johnson won.
Or maybe. That's hard to remember.
Takes you back to the years Brett Hearn.
You know what would be interesting is, I don't know if it's available, but to go back and build a database with the support or the satellite races. I'm sure it's out there, and if I spent some time doing it, we could probably come up with it. You know what? That's your job. We get back to the house tonight, all right?
No, it's not.
No, it's on you.
No, because I read the schedule, and we're doing a show at 9 a.m.
Right? Yeah,
like, what?
And you're going to come in your pajamas, I'm sure.
My pajamas are under here.
Because you always travel in your
That's
pajamas.
why we've got a skirt over the front of the
so
table,
we don't
so you
have to
can't see my jammies.
He's what?
So Hearn has dominated the satellites, and those were.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good call.
You go to Brewerton Rolling Wheels.
Yep.
Rolling Wheels was a Brett Hearn track, and then come to Syracuse and do it. But Matt Williamson has the opportunity to do something that not many people have done in a long while.
Oh yeah, I was busting his chops last night. I'm getting pretty sick of talking to you. He goes, I like it. It's been a great week. He has had, as he's come into Super Dirt Week, it has been a fantastic second half of the year. He won $100,000 in Middletown, and since that race, there's not a race where I don't think he has been in the mix or winning or going on to win the race. Like, he won back-to-back series races for Buzz Chu, which they had never won a series race, let alone back-to-back. And it just keeps rolling, the momentum for that team.
And the success breeds confidence, confidence breeds success, and it's spilled over into all of the race teams that he races for.
Right, it doesn't matter. And I think that goes back to when you look at what he did at Middletown, every team that he runs for was a part of that event. Whether it was the team he runs some of the open shows with Jeff Barrett, or whether it was Johnny Coco, those guys and everybody there, the Buzz Shoe team. again, his car, you know, all those guys came together and they made it, you know, one big family group. You know, even last night, you walk in the pits, and there's all the different teams. They're all there congratulating them on getting that win.
Yep. And it's also a changing of the guard in the sport.
I think that's awesome, too. Like, you're seeing that next generation. You know, you're seeing Eric Rudolph now start to step up. He's in the mix and starting to win races. I mean, that was a fantastic battle last night at Brewerton between him and Matt Williamson.
And the restarts. The restart that everyone's talking about,
It
that
is
they
in the
think Matt jumped.
it is in the highlight video. If you want to watch it, that's on DirtTrackDigest.com, and you can see.
But did you put the restart before that when Eric
I think I put both restarts in it.
Because
So
the one prior was a little bit ugly in the
yeah,
other way.
Yeah, he came down a little bit the other way. So it was hard racing.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, if you're going to go, that's what you want. And that's what we're going to see tonight here. You know that.
You have to.
Oh, yeah. You know.
Because who's going to qualify tonight? The top 8 non-qualified cars in the modifieds.
Yep.
So
And the same thing here with the dirt car 358 modified. So we'll have the top 6 that are locked in. So we'll have 30 locked in when tonight's over. So both features will have 30 cars locked in. Obviously, Pro Stocks, looking at that rundown here, the first 8 non-qualified cars in each will be locked in as well. So it's 8 in every one. I'll assume Sportsman. Now, Sportsman, there's 4. So probably going to go at 6, right? Take 6 out of each one.
I bet you they'll still take 8.
Maybe they'll take 8. We'll find out.
You got to start
yeah,
losing. You got 100 cars.
Again, that's holy cow. That is insane.
You know, I got chuckling to myself earlier because I was thinking, you know, if you're a fuel supplier or a tire supplier to this race, times are not as good as they were when you were servicing the New York State Fairgrounds.
Oh, right. Oh,
Because some of these teams only have 8 laps.
That's crazy.
It's time to run your heat, and that's all they've run. You've
Right.
got a 3-lap practice session. Some didn't get 2, some did. And then you get your 2 qualified. Some people have less than 8 laps on the racetrack.
That's crazy. You know, but again, it's a byproduct of just how many cars we got. Like, you know, I think the guys today, the modified guys, are super happy because they did end up doing that practice session late in the day because they were able to get through the Sportsman and the Pro Stock stuff. So they got to go back out on the track and get their laps in. So, I mean, but last year, I think 8 laps is more than they got last year because remember, last year it rained almost every day.
Yeah.
And we didn't get on the track till, what was it, Saturday morning or Friday morning? One of the two. Like, it was really all normal Super Dirt Week schedule where it rains, you know, and everything happens. But this year, you know, we've gotten the laps that they're able to get and get on the track. And, again, they got a few extra laps today. But I don't know. And I think that's what part of the element, though, that makes this so good because everybody's going in blind. Like, what works for those 8 laps might not work at the end of 150 or at the end of 200.
When Billy Decker, who's one of the winningest drivers in Super Dirt Week history, with one of the most successful crew chiefs in the business, says, we're going to have to shoot from the hip. Like, if the guys who prepare everything and know how to win everything are saying, I'm not really sure what it's going to take, what are the guys who are just kind of coming in blinder going to do?
But you know what? Maybe they have, you know, you think about guys that have run Super Dirt Week before, they got, yeah, those are the guys, right, that's what I'm going to say. Like, those guys that have run this before always think a certain way about, like, well, we did this didn't work, and we did that, and oh, man, that really sucked. Oh, that really worked. Let's do that. Then you got guys that didn't come here, and they're like, well, let's just, whatever happens, let's go. Let's play it by ear, see how we feel. Oh, crap, caution, lap 75, let's pit now. You know, like, there's no strategy. They're just, this is what feels right, let's do it. Whereas the guys that have done it over and over, they're thinking and trying to play out the 50 different scenarios. I mean, I thought it was funny when Jimmy's like, that really wasn't the plan, but, oh, I guess we're here, you know? Like,
yeah, it's the hand you're dealt.
Right, so we're here. You know, we saw that at Syracuse where guys were like, oh, man, now I got the lead.
Well, and you knew. We'd sit in the infield center and say, what are they doing?
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
And then Frank Cosi does it.
yeah, true enough. But before there was Stuart Friesen at the mile who made passing look possible,
yeah,
there was Tobias at the mile. So there's always been someone who people could get really excited to watch.
Right.
Come to Oswego, there's 10 or 12 of them. Billy Whitaker was that guy.
Right. Oh, right. He was real exciting last year.
Right.
Passing cars.
And
You know, Peter Britton has been awesome here. I hope we get to talk to him, by the way, because I love having him on the show here.
It's always fun.
Always
as long as there's one person in the field, and I think there's going to be 5 or 6 or 8 who are out there tearing it up.
That's what matters.
Everybody has to push a little bit harder.
Right. And I think now with the way they've changed the rules on there's only a certain amount of caution laps now. Is it 3 or 4? I can't remember if it's 3 or 4. I don't want to make a mistake, but I know it's somewhere in there per caution. So that changes it too.
Then they stop.
Yeah, so now they're not going to keep counting. So that makes it different, you know, a big difference because depending on cautions, again, it depends on how many caution laps you do or don't run and so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot of different variables, and I like that it keeps changing like that. We keep adjusting it, trying to make it better, because, again, nobody can get in that rhythm of, well, we know this is what's going to work, and we're going to do the same thing. Everybody's going to come in. Like, I love the Eastern States 200. That's my favorite race. I go to that every year. One of my I don't want to say it is my favorite modified race. I love Middletown. Right, Chris? Yeah, so, and Chris Marquart is here. He's producing here. And, here, Chris, let's do this. Here, let's give Chris a mic, because he's been faithfully sitting over there quietly.
The voice in the back. This will be fun, like the producer chimes
Yeah,
in.
right. Yeah, so there you go, Chris. How's it feel?
The disembodied voice.
Baba Booey.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's a comparison I want,
Eastern
right?
States, you always see the first caution after 50. Everybody that's running up front's coming in, and they're all pitting around the same time. Then they're coming back out and they go, and that's what it's going to be. Now that's going to change. There's a new track surface there too, but this. It's just because, again, that we keep changing slight changes to the rules, how we do things. And I love that they're not going to count all those laps. Let's make them race. Let's race as many green flag laps in 200 as we can. And I think that's what we're going to see now.
Dirt Car's done a pretty nice job. And I mean, I'm not one to just blow sunshine. But
obviously, you know.
But with this Super Dirt Week, with the way they've put things together, every year's been a little bit better. And for all the criticism over the years that people have given, I think they really have to appreciate that. They've stepped up and created a Super Dirt Week that really is the pinnacle
now it really
of
is.
the dirt racing
schedule.
schedule.
And now, by the car, look at the car counts.
Yeah.
You're not going to see any better at any other race that you go to in the Northeast for modifieds and sportsmen and that. This is the event now. And it's Super Dirt Week, and that's what it should be.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it awesome. And that, like Oswego, I remember when they made the choice to come here, I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome.
I thought so too. Now I'm jaded because I used to come as a kid. I loved Classic Weekend. I loved super modified racing. So this place is very special to me. When you walk through,
it's cool.
There's some racetracks when you pull into them, you just think, oh yeah,
we're here. Yeah, and this is one of those, the covered grandstands and all the elements of that. That's what makes this place cool. And to me, you had built-in history when we got here. We came from a historic facility at the mile. We came here to Oswego, and there was already built-in history with what had happened with the supers and the modifieds and everything that had raced here in the past. So now we're adding to the legacy of what Oswego Speedway is, and that excites me. And
did you see the past winners flags?
Yeah.
On 104?
Aren't they cool?
And those were so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like,
and that's
this
one thing
is
I love
really
about Oswego. They really have gone all in. Like the parade, that is awesome. I work at the high school here in town. And the secretaries were all talking. They had their lunch break around that time, and they're all like, "Yeah, I went over. My kids go to they go to the school across the river over here, right around the corner from the racetrack, and all the kids came out to the road, and they were watching the cars and waving to the drivers and stuff. And you just saw their faces. They loved it. They thought it was so cool. And I think it's great to see the town embrace this event. Again with the flags all up down Main Street as you drive up, through town. You see all the flags and everything. It's a really cool thing. The people in town are embracing it. I mean, we rented a house this year from a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, is this a normal thing you guys do?" Yeah, that's what we do. Cool. Well, you want to rent my house? Yes, I do.
It's been a good experience because you know what? With an entity like Dirt Track Digest, it takes a lot of people. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of manpower to produce the results that we produce and the pictures and the videos and it's really nice to have one hub where almost everybody involved is waking up in the morning because we've had a little bit of time at night, but I find in the morning.
Right. Well, this is the first time I've talked to you since you got here. I mean, we had a few minutes the other night, but that was it. So it's definitely was an awesome change. Obviously nobody wanted to see the mile go away. I was disappointed because of the history, but I'm happy we're here, and I say it every year, and I'll continue to say it every year. This is now the event, and this is the car counts and everything that we're going to see proves it. And
Have they always run pro stock heats?
I don't know. I don't think they have. This is the first year, right?
See, I keep worrying I'm going to say something really stupid.
Well, here's the thing.
I know
it all blurs together, man. I won't hold anything against you if you make a mistake because I do it all the time because it all blurs. Like, you're like, let's see, I've been to 100 races this year already. Yeah, I don't know how. You've been to like 12, 15?
I have a more limited schedule than you, Mike, but I go to a lot of races. Well, 11. I'll tell you what I did for the first time. You haven't done that this year.
What?
I bought a ticket.
I did buy a ticket.
I went to Brewerton Speedway and I bought a ticket.
No,
for
I
me
did
and
buy
my
a
son
ticket.
Connor.
Where did I go? I went to Lawrenceburg this summer. I went to Eldora, and then I wanted to go to a non-wing race, and they had it on that Sunday. I just wanted a day off after the King's Royal, So I drove down. I bought a ticket and went to Lawrenceburg. I sat with my buddy Andy from Pennsylvania, and we sat. We had a couple beers and just enjoyed the racing. It was great.
Isn't that weird?
It was weird because you're so used to working. Like, hold on, let me get my note. Wait, I don't have it.
Nothing to do.
Nothing to do. And it was fun.
Yeah, we
It was
did
fun.
that last night at Brewerton. I'm glad we did because I love that show. We'll go to Fulton tomorrow night because I
I'm
enjoy
working
that
tomorrow.
show
No,
as
I'm
well.
working tomorrow night, so I get to call the ESS portion, or the sprint car portion. Looking forward to that.
I'm going to buy a ticket. We're going to support the economy. So folks, we're going to be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
You sure you're going to make 9 a.m.? Because, he'll make 8:58 is when you'll be here.
Listen, let's not talk about punctuation.
What?
What time was tonight's show?
7 o'clock.
What time was our show tonight?
Oh, 5. Don't look at me.
5.
And you know what?
No.
We were.
Oh, no, you're the boss.
Yeah, oh, right.
So whenever something's going on,
Oh, you can blame
I
me.
run
Here we go.
Dirt Track Digest.
Oh, no, yeah,
I'd
yeah,
like
yeah.
to think we're a little bit late. It's
Hey,
his fault.
hey,
that,
right,
that
yeah.
guy way over there.
Bull crap, all right? I give everybody
Sure.
credit. Don't start with me.
I think he's pointing past you.
Yeah, I was pointing to the guy outside over there. I wasn't
Yeah.
even pointing at Chris.
So 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we are going to recap the 12 heat races.
Yep.
And to
We'll
my
have-
point, I didn't remember, but I didn't think the Pro Stocks had run heats.
No, they haven't.
I
I
love
don't-
that we're running heats for every class.
I think it's
that's
great.
here.
I think it's great. And again, we'll be back 9 a.m. as you mentioned. No show tomorrow night because we want everybody to go to Fulton and enjoy that show, the Win and You're In program. That obviously got the big boost, more money. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then we'll be back Sunday morning at 9 a.m. We're going to hopefully get the winner of the 150 on. We'll have them on with us. And then we'll talk to a few different guys in terms of who's going to be in the main events. And then we will be post-race again after the Billy Whitaker Cars 200. And hopefully we can do it like we did last year because I think that was pretty cool.
I enjoy it.
Having everybody up here with us. So that's our goal. Okay, that's our goal.
Did we have beer here last year? Because people sort of walked in with, I think we need a cooler back here.
I'm fine with that. After the race, we can have whatever we need back here.
And then when they come in, because if you want to welcome guests,
You got to have
after the race,
right.
At least they don't have to drink it. Like, we're not going to force them to, but there should at least be the opportunity.
Right,
to-
I'll give you that.
yeah, I think
So what do you think?
you're buying though.
Because you're not going to buy anything. God knows GT ain't going to pay for anything. He paid $475 last night, and he was looking for he's like, here's my receipt. Where's my money? I'm like,
I can't see GT's hands. Like his arms are leading towards his pocket. He might actually have one hand in his dad's pocket wherever George is. I don't know, but I know that he's always got his finger on that pulse.
So it looks like cars starting to stage out there. What are we doing out here?
Yeah, let's go racing. I just
All
saw
right.
Brett Hearn wheel by. Jessica Powers out there waiting to get across. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Adam Ross. This is Mike Mallett with DTD TV. We're here all weekend. 9 a.m. is the next show, and that was fun. That was
great. And again, we want to thank Billy Decker, Jimmy Phelps, and Tony Markou. Tony. That's what it's going to be because I'm going to say it wrong.
Markou.
I feel
Markou.
Markou. I feel like my announcers at Utica Rome that I make fun of whenever they say some names wrong here. So now I got to make a mistake. But again, thanks for watching. Again, check us out all week.
Who are those guys?
Yeah, who are those guys that announced there, Chris? I don't know. But check us out all week. We've got a fantastic team of guys here humping it here. They have done a fantastic job. And if you get a chance, you see them, thank them because they're working their butts off here
And
this week.
tonight's the test. Tonight, finally, our photographers get to shoot action here.
They
at
get to see
Oswego.
racing side by side. We're going for it now.
Let's do it. See you tomorrow, folks.